Greetings, people of the world! Matthew back with you here at Novora Autism for the continuation of Let's Play Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn. It is year 2, day 54 for EDSS and the Realm Reborn. And last time, we were able to complete the Sunken Temple of Karn on hard mode. And now we get to take on the second side dungeon available of it through patch 2.4, and we get there by speaking with Blozong. And so, let's take on his challenge entitled, It's Definitely Pirates. Blozong has a favor to ask of you on behalf of an old friend. By the onion, you're here, Edie! You couldn't have come at a better time. A friend of mine sent word that he needs a capable adventurer, you see, and I naturally thought of you. Who's this friend, you ask? Why, none other than Commodore Raynor of the Yellow Jackets. He and I met back when I first started as a culinarian, and we've been friends ever since. Anyroad, I'd appreciate it if you'd pay him a visit and inquire as to what he needs doing. You'll find him in the Coral Tower with his Yellow Jackets. And by Coral Tower, he means, specifically, Lim Solominsa and the Marauders Guild, which we've done some training in before. As most of you have been playing before will know, this was the necessary place where we had to go do training in order to get ourselves access to the elevated warrior class for the Lancer, what Edie is right now, which is the Dragoon. So upon our arrival in Lim Solominsa, let's go ahead and speak to the man we need to speak to, who is situated on the upper decks in Lim Solominsa. And so, yeah, here's some of the Yellow Jackets he was referring to. And these big burly men. Yeah, it's not Wurnsweiner we need to speak to, it's Commodore Raynor, who's right up here at this perch. Yeah, we tried to persuade him a couple of days ago to help us join, and become part of the Crystal Braves, but he declined our invitation. However, we have to mandatorily speak with him here. Good day to you, Edie. How timely. There is something I would ask of you. But where are my aunt manners? Is there aught you require? Here at Blozong's behest, you say? That he should send you of all people is a stroke of good fortune indeed. Permit me to apprise you of the situation. You will doubtless recall driving the Serpent Reavers out of Sastasha. Well, despite our best efforts to keep the place secure, I regret to inform you that it has been occupied by pirates. Pirates, I say, though eyewitnesses claim that they seem more akin to fiends from the briny depths. To be frank, we are not wholly certain what it is we are dealing with. I dispatched a party of adventurers to identify and eliminate the threat, but it would seem their courage failed them. But they were not you, my friend. You will fare better against whatever awaits within Sastasha, of that I have no doubt. If you will be willing to assist us, pray report to Jerpa, who stands guard by the entrance to the caverns. And so, I'm trying to remember where exactly Sastasha is. I think it is Western Lanosea out of Aleport. If I remember correctly, that's where it is. I'll know it in a moment. But hopefully we'll find what we require. And we need to. Because we have a job to do. Alright. Yep, I was right. There's Sastasha right up there. So, let's take a ride on my beloved Chocobo and get ourselves over to Sastasha. Yeah, you might recall it's been a long time since we set foot in Sastasha. It was actually the very first dungeon that we had access to in this game. And the person we spoke with to get access there initially was Kaguistol. But now we actually want to go and speak with Jerpa. With Jerpa. I'm actually not sure how to pronounce this, but I do believe this is a Mikote. So yeah, let's go ahead and speak with her, because yeah, she's not the tall, burly Rogadin. No question. Ah, it is you. I take you coming to help us again? Wonderful. You see those adventurers yonder? We sent them in at first, but it soon became clear that they were unequal to the task. By my count, they lasted just under a minute outside, before staring back out, sucking for air like fish out of water. As such, we're no closer to ascertaining the nature of the threat and let alone eliminating it. You'll be going in blind, I know, but you've purged Sastasha before, and I'm certain that you can repeat the feat. Enter whenever you're ready. I look forward to hearing of your success. And so now we have access to the hard mode of Sastasha, the very first dungeon we went into when we started this game all the way back last year. So, be back in a moment, and we will make our way into Sastasha hard mode. And so, for the first time in a long time, we have returned to Sastasha. And while the scenery may just be as impressive as it was when we first entered this cave, of course, since we're now doing this on hard mode, where myself and 3 others will be taking it on, as you can see, we've been spotted. And so there's no question that the pirates here have been alerted to our princess, so we're gonna have to deal with them. And, as always, we are going to be accompanied by my lovely wife, Sakura, who will be healing us for this particular group, and so, away we go. So, welcome to Sastasha on hard mode. And it looks like we're gonna have a tank, and it looks like they're very well overpowered. That's just gonna pull every single enemy that they see. Well, maybe not. Yeah, because it's not all that uncommon here to see such a maneuver take place. Of course, since we're doing the hard mode of a dungeon, it should not come as that much of a surprise that we will be dealing with much more formidable adversaries. Yeah, we have done hard modes of dungeons already before, like Halatali and Great Blox' Longstop. Those were both introduced as hard modes of dungeons. And let's go ahead and, yeah, we'll just keep bouncing in order to hit multiple opponents at once. Alright. Jumping. There we go. Now let's start causing some pain on these steersmen. Yeah, I don't know if they're called John Steersman because it's actually true and there's zombies now, or if that's just the term that they're being given, but in any event, these guys will hurt you for quite a bit with their AoE, as will everything else pretty much in this entire place. And it takes a nice impressive strike from my lance to eliminate that threat. Now on to the little creatures. They may be little, but they can still hurt you quite a bit. And so now just the dripping solid is remaining for this particular group. And then once that's disposed of, we can move on. And away we go. Lead on, Dark Oberyn. And I will run alongside my lovely Sakura as we continue to take on more of these big, burly Rogadins. You know, all these guys, all these zombies are just a bunch of big, burly Rogadins. And I know that Sakura has my back no matter where we go. Alright, here we go. Next set of confrontation. This is actually the last set of enemies that we have to deal with before we take on our first mini-boss. Because, yeah, it has not taken us that long to get to this point where we will be fighting our first mini-boss. But of course, with so many enemies piled into one area, it should not be that much of a surprise that we might have a bit of challenge along the way with the AoE. Into the air, dive on them, and just keep on going. At least the music's awesome. It's definitely got that adventure feel to it. It's definitely got that on the seas style to it. Makes it feel like you're riding a big schooner on the ocean, like Christopher Columbus or something. Now, I often speak of Christopher Columbus. I often tell people like just how underrated he is in modern times, because if it wasn't for what he did and the actions he took, because if you remember the story of Christopher Columbus, he was taking his exploration to the Western world, what we know it now as, in a time when the scientists and the scholars all at the time believed that there was nothing west of Europe, and if you went too far west, you were going to fall off the planet. So, activate this drainage pump here, and that gets us access to where our first mini-boss will be. But yeah, Back in the day, the scientists and the scholars all said, if you go too far to the west, you will fall off the world and you will die. And of course, he proved them all wrong, and thanks to him, we now live on the part of the world that we do now. So, let's take a brief moment from our history lesson to explain the boss that we're dealing with, Carabolos, or Carlobos, I guess I should call him more specifically, has quite the interesting tactic. From time to time, he will unleash a very devastating ability known as Tail Screw. If you can neutralize it with a stun in time and prevent him from using it, then you will neutralize the Tail Screw. So it's really helpful to make sure that you have allies on your side that can help to prevent the usage of the Tail Screw. I have had instances before where I've come through, taken on this mini-boss, and no one has had it. If you get hit with the Tail Screw, it will not kill you. It will leave you with a few HP, so you will still be alive. But obviously, your healer's going to need to do a really good job of bringing you back towards close to full health. But it's best to be always at full health in this fight, given the circumstances of what I've just explained to you. And from time to time, he will also cast Slime, and Slime basically acts like a poison, and it will reduce your HP. And in this situation, whoa, yeah, if my wife Sakura did not use, that was a hasty use of stun. I used that in haste. Well, that sucks. Yeah, you need to save those. You gotta make them count in this thing. Yeah, if your HP was too low and the slime was still in effect and you got hit with the Tail Screw, you would die. So for your sake, just find yourself in this situation, get yourself in a situation where your healer can use the Suna to their advantage, and you will not die from using the Tail Screw. Okay, the Bard is going to get targeted. They won't die, as I mentioned before, but they will definitely suffer a lot of damage. So let's keep going here. Yeah, we're doing a pretty good job of taking Carlobos' HP down. I mean, the Tail Screw is the one and only thing you really have to worry about. There's not much else to concern yourself with in this fight. Of course, if you get slimed, then your healer has to deal with that. Alright, try and prevent the Tail Screw from being used. Mission accomplished. Threat neutralized. So we should have enough time to prevent it being used again. And for safety's sake, we're going to use a limit break. And it finishes him off. Awesome. We're off to a good start here. Alright, so from 2.4 onward, you will actually see antique solares being made available. If you can roll and get those, you can actually exchange them for gear that is level 90. And that's actually very important gear, the level 90 gear that you can exchange for, because you can exchange it for any piece of armor that was belonging to back in the time when you actually could purchase level 90 gear for the warrior class that you were using. And specifically the enhanced versions of the original armor sets that you would have gotten for when you first completed your training for your elevated warrior or magic class. So yeah, it's a shame that they got rid of the opportunity for you to buy that stuff, but at least they didn't take it away completely, and by coming here to places like Sastasha Hard in the 2.4 dungeons, you can get an opportunity to get the pieces of antique armor and exchange it. You exchange them in Mordona through Rowena, who we've crossed paths with before in terms of getting our relic weapon, the Gay Bulb. And certainly because of her help, she definitely contributed to our success in obtaining said weapon. And so, just need to take care of these crabs. We have one down. Now let's take care of his friends. Yeah, just keep weaving around the AoE and you'll be just fine here. Did I avoid damage? I did. Yes. Awesome. We're looking good so far in this fight. But these actually aren't the most annoying regular enemy. There are actually enemies that are more annoying than this. Yeah, you saw them cast a lot of AoE, but there's more frustrating enemies coming along. Including, yeah, we have a bit of a free space to just run. But what we're fighting next, there is some mechanics involved with this enemy. The Drowned Wench and the Drowned Courtesans. You see balls of brine going towards it. What you need to do is not only damage it, but you also have to try and destroy the brine, because if you don't, and even one orb of brine touches her, then it will heal her. So you can see myself and the Bard, the other DPS for this challenge, are doing everything we can to prevent the brine from reaching the Drowned Wench. We succeeded in that, and once the wench is killed off, then the brine no longer keeps spawning, and then you can focus your attention on the Drowned Courtesans. And it won't be long until we have disposed of these two. So just get rid of this one right here, and we can move on. So yeah, that was the first set, but there is another set that we're about to take on. Focus your targets on the Drowned Wench, and go after her. Now, I'll admit I could have done that a little more wisely. But considering what we're dealing with, of course, speed is very important. Right. Yeah, the Bard is doing a really good job of keeping the brine at bay. But, of course, it never hurts to add your own contributions. And so now we focus our attention again on the courtesans. Let's go ahead and make examples of them. As we enjoy the awesome adventure music here at the Slasher Hard mode. I'm pretty much run out of TP here. I need to get some back. Alright. So those are the only two instances where you'll have to deal with both the Drowned Wench and Drowned Courtesans. You can see there's a treasure chest over here, but what we're heading towards next is actually our second mini-boss. If you remember all the way back to year 1, you might remember one of the mini-bosses, a gentleman by the name of Captain Madison. Well, he's back and he's gotten a lot tougher. And he also comes with backup. So, you gotta deal with said backup. So it's a good idea to eliminate the guard, the boy, and the leech first. The guard can cause the most damage if I remember correctly. The leech is the healer. Because as we all know, at least I hope, as we all know, because there are some may not necessarily be familiar with the term, but leeches were used in medical practice a long time ago. And here we go. Into the air. Into the air. Yeah, what makes Captain Madison tougher in this particular fight is that his damage can actually stack. And you have to try and stop his damage from stacking by causing as much damage on him as you possibly can. And once you have caused enough damage, then he will stop stacking and the stack will actually be neutralized. Ooh, I got stunned there. And now he comes after me and gives me a keel haul. Arr. Now he's going after my wife. Leave my wife alone. So there will be replacements on the ads from time to time. So as before, deal with them. But there will be more twists to this fight as we continue to progress. Just make sure that you get rid of the ads as fast as you can. Yep, and get out of the way when they use AoE themselves. Right. Okay, Captain's boy is dead. Back to Captain Madison. Let's get more stacks on the guy. I should probably be standing behind him so that I'm not taking any unnecessary damage. And we can't fail not again. Well, let's see just how exactly that will work. But yeah, now he's really gonna start stacking on the damage if you let him. Into the air, splat. Into the air, splat. Now, what I'm hoping for as we get closer to defeating him, because you cannot kill him. You can only weaken him to such a degree as you could before in Sastasha on normal mode. But as you saw, he had like 9 stacks there of damage. Now, what will happen is that you will see, okay, I'm in a position now where I can use the limit break. Hopefully I can get it off! Ah, thankfully, my lovely wife has my back. My wife's got my back. Now, let's see if we can actually pull this off without dying. Limit break! Limit break him! Limit break him! Okay, he's out. He's out. However, the fight's not over yet until we kill everything. We have to kill everything or else we have to start this over again. So it's now up to the tank and the bard to save us from restarting this fight. And so far, it is not looking good. Yeah, it didn't help that the captain targeted my wife. It also didn't help that he took me out too. Tank, hang on, man. Just hang on. Yeah, I don't think he's gonna make it. No, we're starting over. And unfortunately, that's a wasted limit break. Yeah, it is typically not that hard of a fight, but if you allow the stacks to get too high, it does become that hard. So we have to start this all over again. And that means running all the way back from where we defeated mini-boss number 1 and getting ourselves all the way back to where mini-boss number 2 is. But yeah, that is a rough fight. Make no mistake about it. Because usually you can get away with that. Unfortunately, we were not so fortunate. Because once I got nailed with a really devastating damage from that stack there, I was the lost cause, and then when my wife tried to save me, and then he started stacking damage on her, I mean, once you lose the healer, you're dead. You're doomed. No matter how overpowered your tank is. I mean, with that many ads out on the field, it just does not bode well for you at all. So now we are awaiting the arrival of our allies. So, if I'm not mistaken, I believe my lovely Sakura has gotten her hair done. Yeah, I think she has actually gotten a different hairstyle. She must have paid a visit to Jandalaine. Because I don't know, it just looks different from the last time that we did a challenge together. Anyway, here we go again. Into the air, splat. And now, down you go, leech. Now for the boy. Hey, boy! Yeah, you want to align yourself with the captain? This is the price you're going to have to pay for it. So hopefully we'll have much better luck this time around. Hey, leave my wife alone! Screw you! Screw you, Captain Madison. Just plain out, screw you. Leave my wife alone. Hey, you want to pick on someone? Pick on me. Hopefully not to the point where you kill me. Alright. We saw ads return to the field. Let's go ahead and eliminate them. Hey, hold still. Oh, they really don't want to hold still. And our tank isn't doing a really good job of keeping them all together. Yeah. And splat? Oh, you resisted the stun, but it doesn't matter. into the air, splat. Right, that takes care of that. Now, back on the captain. Now, let's see if we can make it count this time. Right through you. Right through you, let's put you out. I'm gonna take you out. Hey, don't you go anywhere. Alright, now the shots are against... Yeah, it is against me. Thankfully, he didn't score much. Alright, back over here. Yeah, he really likes to spam the damage stack when he's close to getting killed. Ow, really? I went behind him and still got nailed. So take that in revenge. Yeah, damn right that bloody hurt. Unfortunately, I no longer limit break to help me. Which means I'm gonna get stuck seeing this damage stack like crazy. I just hope I can weaken him enough to the point where he decides to bail. And of course I say I, but I also, of course, but I mean we. Alright, he's done. Now let's finish the rest of them off. And quickly, because, yeah, we lost our Bard. And that AoE is not looking very promising. Oh, that's going to be quite the hit. Oh, get off me. Okay, deal with the leech. Get rid of the leech. Now, these guys take no prisoners. Make no mistake about it. And, yeah, start getting rid of the guard. Clear out. Now that's a lot of stacked AoE. I probably should be group attacking here with the Ring of Thorns. That would be a good idea. In fact, that's pretty much what I'm going to spam now, is the Ring of Thorns. Because there's just so many enemies on the field. Yeah, it's not the worry from the boss itself. It's all these enemies that you have to deal with that come at the end that can trip you up on your run here. But we got our victory. And now we can move on. Alright, so let's play for the various items. Most of these are going to go the way of the healer. I mean, those were really good rolls. Oh, I guess my wife didn't want the earrings. Well, she got the bracelet, though. Anyway, on to the third section of Sastasha Hard Mode, finally. Yeah, because that round, first encounter didn't go as we had hoped. So let's take it to this top man and this deckhand. We'll get our frustrations out on these two. So, just wear them out, and then we can get ready to move on. Now, back in the normal mode of Sastasha, you actually could have taken two different paths here. That gate on the left, that would have released a whole bunch of scurvy dogs when you were fighting Captain Madison for the second time here. But here, that gate doesn't get opened, and you can't actually gain access to what's over there, because there was treasure back there in the normal version of Sastasha Hard Mode. So we have now returned basically to where the main boss chamber is. But we still have a lot of enemies to deal with, and we're not quite done with everything here. So, as our tank did before, he'll pull all the enemies together, or as many as he feels that he sees fit to bring together. Because if he really wanted to, he could bring over everything. He's got 3 more enemies over there that can be taken care of. Alright, so yeah, it looks like our tank is going to pull everyone around because he's trying to avoid the AoE. Into the air. Cause more damage. Yeah, we're definitely spreading it around. We're definitely spreading the damage around, no question. Just need to take this book swing up. There he goes. Now we can continue and get rid of these other guys. Just waiting on my Dragonfire dive to kick in. There it goes. And so now, onward and upward, hopefully. Back to the air. Alright, there. Okay, it's still 4. It's still 4 out there. Damaging them relatively evenly. 3 of them anyway. And take you out now. And we're almost there. Jump onto you. And resume our course. There's just one guy left over here. And now we can move on. Alright, so this is our last set of enemies before the boss appears. And there's actually a boss before the boss. If you're looking at the list of objectives, we have to deal with the first mate first. But that only comes after we eliminate this trio of enemies. And so now, we'll try and get them eliminated as fast as we can before preparing ourselves for the first mate. Now, hopefully we've done a good job of recovering from our fail against Captain Madison in the previous round. Into the air, bounce back, avoid the AoE. Perfect. Perfectly done. Just move a little to the right. Well, in this case it would actually be my left. Yeah, I make mistakes like these all the time. Here comes the first mate. Now, once we get ready to approach him, and so we now do, it says the drowned have risen to the call of their master. Meaning, all these drowned powder monkeys are going to start getting onto the field and they're going to try and overwhelm us. So, focus as best you can on killing off first mate Hairstem as fast as you possibly can. Because there is AoE involved, plus he comes with his own special status affliction that will stun you so that you cannot escape said AoE. But yeah, the Bard is doing a really... Okay, as you can see, I got stunned, so now I'm going to get nailed by the first mate's attack, which causes pretty good damage. Not devastating damage, but... Alright, so now let's join in on the group damage. Because yeah, look at all these enemies. It's a packed house around here. It amazes me that they can fit this many enemies on camera at once, and your system does not crash. Because yeah, that's a lot of freaking enemies. Let's just spam that Ring of Thorns and finish them all off. There we go. We now have access to the Sultana's lap. So now, there's Captain Madison. You've done well to make it this far, but you wish you hadn't. Release the Kraken! Well, in this case, the Kraken knocks Captain Madison into the water. And takes the parrot for a home run. Sends him out Team Rocket style. But yes, you might remember the Kraken from Hullbreaker Isle. Well, he's back for a rematch. This time the fight against him works differently, which I will demonstrate in just a moment. So, if we're all ready... Well, my wife's going to cast Stone Skin as was last time. Let's engage Kraken 2.0. So this fight works differently. Like before, you are still attacking the arms and the tentacles in order to prevent yourself from taking a whole lot of unnecessary damage. But you actually don't have to kill the tentacles themselves. You can just focus on the arms, and that's actually important because if you prioritize on the arms, then what will happen is that the Kraken will actually unleash a special ability that, if you don't kill them all off in time, that can really set you back. Also, unlike the previous battle on Hullbreaker Isle, you can actually damage the Kraken this time. Yeah, there was the sign that said it cannot bear its bring its arms to bear against you. It was trying to use an ability called Stranger Tides. If you did not save yourself from the tentacles, then that attack would have hit, and we would have all suffered some pretty good damage. So yeah, basically it's an instance of, yeah, we've seen this mechanic before. You get stunned by a tentacle, and then he'll throw you. This time he's not throwing you away from the group, he's throwing you into the path of this attack, which will inflict blind on you. Now the arms will always appear, and the arms and tentacles will always appear in random holes, but your priority is to just chase them down. Oh, that was actually good timing because, yeah, if we didn't kill that thing fast enough, we would have actually seen what Stranger Tides would have looked like. So we got away with one there. Alright. Arms and tentacles back out again. Nope. Alright, continue damaging. Alright, now back at it. So this time there are 4 arms on the field. So just same as before, try and avoid the AoE as best you can. And so far we are looking pretty good. Yeah, we did avoid disaster fortunately against that one situation. And then just like before, ignore the tentacles, go after the Kraken itself. Focus on the target. Yeah, in this instance, you get so much opportunity to cause damage that you can just really go for the gusto here. Into the air, splat. And into the air. Alright, there would have been Stranger Tides again had we not disabled all the tentacles. Or in the arms in this instance. So we've got the Kraken pretty much past half health now. We'll go ahead and use a double limit break. Now when you see an instance where there are no tentacles on the field and it's just arms, you can ignore them. And yeah, I'm not joking because you can't kill them all off anyway, and the Kraken will not use Stranger Tides when it's all arms out on the field. But yeah, you can see just how huge this thing is. But now once you see arms again, return to attacking the arms. But if you feel like your team is strong enough and confident enough, you can actually just ignore the arms and just try and burn the boss. But I would highly recommend you do not. Especially if you have the group that we have. Because we're pretty good. I'd say our strength is pretty good, but if you like have a really powerful set of people, then you could very well get yourself in a position where you can just ignore this round of arms and tentacles and try and burn the Kraken down and kill it. But you're better off just playing it safe and going after the arms. Should have it dead soon. Oh, there it goes. Alright. From this point on, we should be just fine without having to worry about arms again. Okay, splat in the air, Dragonfire dive. So yeah, at this point, even though there are arms back out on the field, it's all arms, no tentacles, just burn down the Kraken. We're pretty close to killing this thing. He can wild plus only once, but it's gonna get beaten. So with Captain Madison and his parrots swatted away like flies, the Kraken is finally defeated. And so after our encounter on Hullbreaker Isle, we have that big ugly defeated, and victory was ours. Well, we can only give the commendation to one person, because of course Sakura is accompanying me in a party. And I got the necklace. He gets the fleece though. So, Sakura and I will be joining you again in the next episode because we're going to take on the second side dungeon of patch 2.4 when I join you again next time. So, well, we still have to complete this particular challenge, so let's leave the dungeon. Okay, we're now back outside the entrance, so let's speak with Chapera to take our next step to completing this challenge. Ah, you are returned! Tell me, were you able to identify our intruders? Yes, we did, actually. Men who look like jellyfish? And you say that they were Captain Madison and his crew? This is decidedly odd, but I know better than to doubt you. I will have their bodies retrieved for study, that we might be better prepared to face such enemies in the future. Your work here is done, friend. Pray make your way to Aleport. Commodore Reyna awaits news there, and will doubtless be glad of a first-hand account. So yeah, now that the commander has... well, in this case the Commodore has arrived at Aleport from Limsa Lominsa, let's go ahead and meet up with him. So, he's not all that far away. Here you are, Commodore. Let's give you the good news. I've already received word of your success. You do not disappoint, ED. Sir, a body has arrived for inspection. What do we have here? Oh, is that Captain Madison himself? This thing used to be a man? Gods be good, how did this happen? A sight to the stomach, 'tis well I haven't eaten. Oh, that was a female. Sorry. That was a female. My apologies. I did not know what to expect. Hey, it was a 50-50 chance. What can I say? Milady, thank you for granting us your valuable time and experience. Commodore, allow me to introduce Miss Siana, foremost among the celebrated Professor Lambertine's students. Let us not stand on ceremony, friends. This man's unnatural form can be attributed, I believe, to the excess absorption of water-aspected ether. A living being can only absorb a certain quantity of ether before suffering adverse effects. To be altered so drastically requires a fatal dose, yet our subject lived here long enough to be struck down. A most peculiar case indeed. I have heard that a primal creates dwells by showering mortals in its own ether. Could this be an extension of that process? I dare say you have struck the mark, Commodore. If being exposed to once to a primal's ether is enough to corrupt the mind, 'tis plausible that repeated exposure corrupts the flesh. Madison and his crew had failed to hold Stasha for their Sahagan overlords, and I suspect that this was their punishment. The fishback's depravity knows no bounds. To think that creatures capable of such cruelty lurk nearby, I shan't get another wink of sleep while I'm here. Have no fear, my lady. My yellow jackets are sworn to protect Aleport and her denizens, and in light of recent developments you may be certain that we will redouble our vigilance. Your words give me heart, Commodore, and as previously agreed upon by way of payment for my services, I shall hold on to this specimen for my research. And thus, that challenge is completed. So, with the patch 2.4 side dungeons now completed, we can now move on to the main story itself. And so we'll take care of that next time because, yeah, as we can see, there is we got storm clouds of brewing, and as we can get by a close-up, my skirt is blowing in the wind. This can only mean one thing. It's gonna get ugly. So with that, I'd like to thank everyone for watching the continuation of Let's Play Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn. And when I join you again, we will make our way to our next destination, Mordona, and the start of the main story for patch 2.4. So until next time everyone, this is Matthew at Novora Autism, saying take care, and I'll see you soon.